Hello, everybody. Gage says it's empty. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hey, everybody. Thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. Today's beer comes from Grimm Artisanal Ales. I used to call this artisanal, but that's not what it is. I had a bunch of people correct me on that. Artisanal Ales. And this says it's brewed at Paper City Brewing. And it says Brooklyn, New York. I don't know what's actually on the bottle. Let's take a quick look. Barrel aged double negative. Is their award-winning Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels. Enough said. And right here underneath there it says March 2015. So this has been aged in a bottle almost 2 years. This is February the 4th. Next month this has been in a bottle for 2 years. And 10% alcohol. And my brother Rico sent me this. And they make a regular version of this according to what I'm reading here. But this is the barrel aged version of this. And I've had some of the Grimm beers that Rico has sent me because they're not available here. And they've been pretty tasty. So I'm looking forward to this beer. This is the final, final beer of the evening for me. And it's a great big 22-ounce bomber. So it's enough to share, which I intend to do. Excuse me. And great big beer. This is big boy's beer. Put your big boy pants on for this. Of course, we just did Hop Slam yesterday, and that was a 10%er also. Completely different style now. Bourbon barrel aged, and I'm a sucker for these bourbon barrel aged stouts, guys. I'll be straight up honest with you. I don't drink bourbon anymore, so I get my bourbon notes from these style of beers that's been aged in the bourbon barrels. A lot of times they'll tell you how long it was done how long they set it in the bourbon barrels, whether it was 3 months, 6 months, a year in the bourbon barrels, and that takes up space in the brewery for them to pour all that out of the vat into the barrels and let them set and let them age, and that costs money. That's why these style of beers are a little more expensive than your regular version beers. So then you got to realize that. I mean, if this is the regular version, it may be $7 to $10. Once they barrel age it, it could be $10 to $20, somewhere in that area. And if you put wax on top of it, that could even add more. Or if you got somebody standing at the bottling line writing with a marker and a little white spot on the label when it was done, or batch number, or any of that kind of stuff, that adds even more cost to it. So glad to see it doesn't have the wax on it, because to me, that's like tits on a boar hog. It's useless. The beer's under pressure unless you got a bottling cap problem and the beer is carbonated and trying to get out, and the air, unless it's gone flat, the air is not going to get in. So it just adds cost in my opinion, guys. If you want to cellar a beer for 20 years, maybe that will help by putting wax on it. Not sold on that idea 100%, but it could. It could. So, and they tell you a lot of times not to lay beers like this down. Some of them tell you, yeah, go ahead and lay it down like a bottle of wine. Keeps the cork wet and keeps it from drying out and letting the air in. This does not have a cork, so I don't know by laying it down what that would harm the beer or have an effect on the beer. Maybe laying it down, that keeps the beer against the seal of the bottle, and it keeps everything wet in there where it's not going to let air in. Don't know. Not sold on it one way or the other right now. If it's got a cork in it, yes. If you're going to cellar a beer that's got a cork in it, or a wine bottle that's got a cork in it, keep that cork moist on the inside, and that'll keep the air from penetrating inside the bottle, though. With a metal cap, with a plastic liner in it, not sure if that's going to help. So, enough about that. So let's get on with it here. He tells me, oh, Grimm Bourbon Barrel Aged Double Negative. He actually traded for this, so this is probably not available in his area either. Even though it's done, it says here at Paper City Brewing out of Brooklyn, New York. He's close to there. He's up in Pennsylvania, so not understanding why he could not get this here or there where he's at. So he actually traded for it, and so he's got time in that and trading something he's bought for this and getting it in, then repackaging and sending it to me. What a guy, Rico. You're awesome, my brother. I do appreciate everything you do for me. I feel very humbled having you as a friend. I really do. And you're welcome here anytime. Come on back. Let's spend another weekend together. Imperial Stout aged in Heaven Hill whiskey barrels. Beer Advocate has this listed at 10.20, while Rate Beer has it at 10% and 70 IBUs. Brooklyn-based brewery founded in 2013 by Joe and Lauren Grimm. The two couple pretty much run the whole show from the brewing their beers to merchandise. Guy and his wife are doing this entire operation here. Thumbs up to those guys. I mean, that is a massive task to undertake. Most breweries have a lot more people than that, and they probably do have somebody helping them, but it sounds like they got control over everything. So that's a good thing. And like I said, he has sent me some of their beers before, and I have found them very, very tasty. So that's all we need to talk about there. Rate Beer actually has this listed at 70 IBUs. Let me step over to Untapped and confirm that, because a lot of times these guys are wrong. An Untapped has it at 80 IBUs. So, what is it? I don't think it's on the label here. I don't see it over here. I don't see it down there. And I don't see it here. So, who knows? Who knows? Unless they actually want to print it on the label. And since they printed this and has March 2015 on here, they're not going to reuse this label on another edition of the beer. So, they should put that on this label, because it's not going to be reused. Just my opinion. Alright, and everybody knows I'm a date Nazi. Yes, I am. So, and I wear that badge proudly. I'm the voice for you guys to tell these breweries what we want and what we don't want and what we like and what we don't like. We do want a bottled on date. We don't want a best by date. We don't enjoy by date or use by date. The vintage is basically all we need. We know it was done in March 2015. That's the month and the year. And if they want to put the IBUs on there, that's a good thing. That's just extra additional information. Let us know. Is it 70 IBUs? Is it 80 IBUs? Not going to make a huge difference, but it's just information that we like to have. So, nothing else we need to talk about. So let's just stop talking and let me get over to telling you a little more about the food pairings while I get the cap off. It says here the cheese is buttery, brie, Gouda, Havarti, Swiss. Goes well with your nice hiss. Goes well with your chocolate dishes, of course. The meat is beef, smoked meat, game, and grilled meat. Pint glass, Becker, Nonic tumbler, snifter, oversized wine glass. And here it says can be sold for a long period of time. And I don't see any mention of any coffee being used to produce this beer, so it probably can. You can probably sell this beer 3, 5, 10, even 20 years probably. 10%er, it's going to keep. About a quarter finger of head on that pour. Over into the light, there is none. It is pitch black, guys. Let's get a nose to it. Very slight hint of the bourbon. It's not overpowering like a lot of them are. Just a little bit of alcohol for the 10%, not much. Roasted malt. Bittersweet chocolate on the nose. Maybe a slight hint of some dark fruit in there too. Smells pretty good. Smells real good. Let's give it a taste and see what we're getting on the taste. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Rico. Everything's kind of mellowed. It's all combined now. This was done in March of 2015, and it's almost 2 years. Everything is combined very well. Got a feeling the bourbon notes might have been a little stronger. I don't know if it's the first run bourbon barrel they used or what, or how long they left it in that barrel. It seems to be mellowed out very well right now. Nothing is overpowering anything else. Hints of bourbon, hints of bittersweet chocolate, hints of some dark fruit, hints of some roasted malt. Everything is just kind of mellowed out and come together very well. Of course, I like a little bit more bourbon in it, but yeah, it is what it is. Not getting a lot of alcohol on the taste. Just a slight hint. And that may even dissipate a little bit once it comes up to room temperature. It's right out of the fridge. So we're going to pour her a glass. I'm going to sip on this, and might step out on deck. And I was working on a cigar out there a little earlier, and I might sip on this and sip on that and enjoy this for just a little bit. Final beer of the evening for me, and going to have a little dinner after this. And this could be served with a strong dish, or either before dinner or after dinner as your dessert. Doesn't have quite enough chocolate or sweetness for me to be considered a dessert beer. Very tasty though. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. Got this little left here. Been outside puffing on a cigar, sipping on this beer. Other half loved it. I did too. Very, very tasty. I think the bourbon notes are a little subdued. Even though it was done in 2015, I don't think it should have faded quite that much. To be honest, my personal opinion, I don't think they've left it in a bourbon barrel very long. That's just my 2 cents. I've got a little bit of it, but it's not outstanding. It's not off the chain. It's not taking up the whole front driver's seat or anything like that. Everything is fairly well combined now. Slight hints of the bourbon, slight hints of the roasted malt, slight hints of the bittersweet chocolate, maybe a little bit of dark fruit in there, a little licorice, a little tobacco. Everything is melded and combined very well. Very smooth for a 10%. Not getting a lot of the alcohol notes on it for a 10%. A very nice beer. It is a very nice beer. Very easy drinking beer for a 10%er. If I was to say anything derogatory about this beer, is that it is a slight hint of the booziness that doesn't pair up well with the bourbon barrelness of the beer. A lot of times it has a big, huge bourbon barrel notes on it, and it has some of that booziness into it. But for the bourbon to be as subdued as it is, and the alcohol still being just a little stronger than the bourbon, I think it probably could have been left in the barrel just a little bit longer to give a little more of that woodiness, oakiness, vanilla-ness, and bourbon from that barrel. And I'm not sure if they even used a first run barrel on this. Maybe it had beer in it before. I'm not really sure there, guys. I would like to see a little more bourbon notes on this beer than what I'm getting. Other than that, well made, excellent beer. Cellared very well for a 2015 edition, and we're in 2017, almost 2 years old. Delicious though, I mean, no doubt about it. Final chug. Tasty beer, guys. It really is. 9 out of 10 for me on this one. Like I said, it had a little bit more bourbon notes in it. I made myself up to the 10 plate on this one, but the bourbon is kind of a little more subdued than I was expecting to get from this beer, because these guys at Grimm have, from what I've had sent to me already, do a pretty good job. And like I told you, it's a couple that's started this brewery and control most of the aspects of the brewery. I don't know how many employees they have helping them out with that, but very well done. A great example, probably a home brewer that's went into actually production of the beer, his recipes and stuff, and started distribution of the beers. That's how it gets started. And like I said, a lot of home brewers have done that. They've stepped up to the plate and say, yeah, we're going to go take the next step and start producing the beers and start selling the beers rather than just doing a home brew and sharing them with your other half, friends, or whatever. So, thumbs up to those guys for taking that step. Can't get these beers here. 9 out of 10 for me. Numeric rating on this, guys, I'm going to give it a 95, right down the middle of the road there on the A category. Over to Beer Advocate, they have it at 93, outstanding. It is an outstanding beer. A great beer. A nice final beer of the evening for me. Very tasty. Just wish it had just a hair more bourbon notes. And over to Rate Beer. Rate Beer has it at 99 overall, 89 in the style. And final check-in is Untapped. They have it at 4.26, which is in their A category. And I would think that's about the middle of the road A category for them too, 4.26. So A beer all around, guys. It's very tasty. Rico didn't tell me what this beer costs. I would think it'd be super expensive, but it's barrel-aged beer. Wouldn't be surprised if it was in the $10 to $15 range, somewhere in there. May have been a little cheaper, may have been a little more. I'm not exactly sure. So, very tasty. I enjoyed it. If you've had this one from Grimm Artisan Ales, this is their barrel-aged double negative. And they did, according to what I've read here, they did do a regular version of this. And it still had the same ABV that this one does at 10%. And I think they did a maple barrel-aged version of this too, which was 11%. So, not had the regular or the maple edition. This is what Rico sent me. I enjoyed it. Rico, thanks again, my brother. I do appreciate it, sir. And if you've had this one, guys, let me know what you think of it. I enjoyed it. It's very tasty. All right, guys, come on back tomorrow. Let's see what's in the fridge. See you then.